Hi, Design TV watchers, and welcome. Thank you for tuning into this very special Collab Lab discussion. My name is Sarah Shelton, and I am the market editor at Luxe Interiors and Design. I'm thrilled to be joined today by Cecil Adams, Vice President and Creative Director at Curry & Company, and all-around creative and design extraordinaire, Aviva Stanoff. Hello to you both and welcome. So we're going to dive into Aviva's stunning new lighting collection and also celebrate the successful design relationship she has with Curry. But first, I'd love to give you both a moment to introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about your backgrounds and exactly what it is that you do. So ladies first, Aviva, let's start with you.
Thank you so much. Number one, thank you for having me. It's such a pleasure to be part of the community. I am anchored by education as a textile designer, and I started on couture runway shows doing exotics for runway finale pieces and red carpet pieces. I took those tendencies and brought them into home. About 10 years into my decade, I left fashion and went to home because I love celebrating connectivity, cozy gathering, and creating sacred spaces for wellness. Along the way, I started to do home accessories, which were pillows, throws, and now, of course, we're going into other product categories, and that occurred when Brownlee Curry walked into my showroom one day and said, "It's this." So we specialize in exotics. I celebrate a deliberate luxury. We celebrate the beauty of imperfection. And I've been practicing that as a means to manifest connectivity between myself and my clients and my consumers for the last, my entire career. It's a deliberate luxury that we celebrate.
Cecil, over to you. How long have you been at Curry now?
I've been at Curry over 15 years. And I have known Robert Curry, the founder of the company, and his wife, Susie, since the early 90s when I worked for a custom upholstery company that was a customer of Curry & Company. And so 15 years ago, Robert called me, and I came through visual merchandising. So I worked in department stores, and like Aviva, I have a love of fashion and textiles. And so I think we have that in common, definitely. And Robert Curry called me and said, "Will you come and help us work on building the brand and reinventing our showrooms, et cetera, et cetera." And so that is what I have been up to, along with working with the design team and product development for 15 years now.
Awesome. Well, we're huge fans of everything you guys are doing over there. So Aviva, let's get right to these lighting pieces. That's why we're here, because they are phenomenal. They are very stunning, and they're evocative of the ocean and of nature. And I read somewhere that you jokingly said that you're a 12% mermaid. And as someone who identifies as a mermaid as well, I am even more into this collection than I already was. Why was the ocean and the beach such an inspiration for you this time around? And how did you integrate that inspiration into this fantastic collection?
Thank you for the compliment. I'm glad to be speaking to a sister mermaid. It's really in my DNA. I grew up on 24 acres of old growth redwoods in Northern California, a jump away from the ocean. So the forest and the ocean, it was where the coastline came together with the cliffs. And I've always resonated and been influenced by the beauty of nature and the sea living together. This collection might just celebrate all those things and years of going surfing in the afternoons and coming home to the woods. And there's something very majestic about the sea, as well as, old growth redwoods, which are like the largest beings, the tallest, most stoic beings on the planet. And something about that just never left me. I've been celebrating these gorgeous aspects of strength and resilience and cyclical, the tides and the way everything harmoniously works together on the planet, though in different elements, earth and water, probably my whole career. So it was a wonderful opportunity to manifest that with Curry, because they really get me.
I love that. No, and I'm looking at, on my desktop, I'm looking at the other pieces you've designed for Curry, and they integrate so beautifully with what you've already collaborated with them on. And I have to say that, the First Light, which everyone knows and loves, is like an industry favorite, a top seller. And a little birdie told me that it's been in like 5 show houses, which is just incredible. And I have a feeling that these new pieces, like this sea fan piece, like all of that, I think they're in line to be just as popular as the good old Forest Light. But how did when you design these, did you in your mind, did you think how they could live with the existing pieces you already had?
It's, for me, it's a process of just celebrating what's in my spirit. Lucky for me, those things in my spirit have continuity only because they're pillars in my the way I see the aesthetics around me. I grew up in a Buddhist temple. In the summertime, we would summer in Japan in a temple, and the rest of the year I lived in the forest next to the sea. So for me, I knew that whatever I celebrated, whether it was the sea corals or the eucalyptus or the palm leaves, that tribal luxe vibe and how I present it, it always goes together because it's in my spirit together. It's always going to be okay.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. When you design from within like that, it's always going to be okay.
Yeah. Can't go wrong.
So Cecil, you clearly lucked out with this design collaboration. Aviva is such a superstar, and you guys have such an impressive roster of design collaborators at Curry. And I'm just curious, like, what is it that you look for in a design collaboration? How do you go about, there's so many designers out there, so many points of view, like what's the magic, the secret ingredient?
Well, I think we're very open to lots of opportunities to work with folks. And as Aviva would say, we really want people who we're gonna vibe together with really well. And so we're really looking to extend our family in a way. And we're very fortunate that a lot of moths are attracted to our flame. So, we get lots of requests to collaborate. And we really consider a couple of things for me in particular. One is, what is this bringing to the party? We have our own, group core of designers on staff. So we already have 4 very strong designers who are seasoned and, doing a lot of wonderful things for us. And so I'm thinking, well, what will this bring to them? Will this challenge them? Will this get us to see things in a different way? As Aviva said, Brownlee met her at a show, and he called me and said, I was not at the show. And he said, I met this lady, her name's Aviva Stanoff. I think she's really kind of kooky and cool, and we ought to do something with her. And I said, well, I do know who she is because of her shop at ABC Carpet and her textiles and all of that. And I was like, sure, let's invite her in and see, what we can do. And so the funny thing that I say, and Aviva has heard me say this, is, Aviva's really about materials and her spirit and things that vibrate with her that she wants to celebrate. And we had a really good kind of the first meeting. Aviva brought what I call her box of rocks, which is really, some very special rocks and things that she's picked up and collected that are, she's feeling. So she came to the meeting with all those things, and we sat down with the designers and put together the first collection in 2016. And the Forest Light chandelier came out of that collection. And it was also a good moment in time because minerals were on trend, and we had been to a couple places in China looking at minerals. We'd been out to Arizona to that big mineral show, and we were trying to figure out how to bring that together. And at that moment, Aviva came in the door, and it was like, oh, okay, this is how we're going to do that. And so here we are, you know.
Here we
Oh, that is
are.
fun.
Wow, you guys really just came out of the gate so strong with that first collection. You know, I'm interested to know how, so you guys have the magic connection, you know, you guys are vibing. What is it like to design? I know, especially this year when we were also remote and virtual, how are you guys communicating to come up with these pieces?
We were fortunate. This collection, this new one, is really all made in our factory in the Philippines. And so we were doing it in one place, which behooved us. I think it really helped us to bring it to market. And then a lot of communication with Aviva through our design team, and in particular, Ian Thornton, who is one of our lighting designers, that we were like, okay, let's not have everyone chatting with Aviva all the time. She's got other stuff going on. Let's have one person, and then, you know, we would reconvene and did it. We've done everything, you know, virtually.
Right. It's incredible that we're able to do that in this day and age. And Aviva, what were you just like sketching or sending, like, you know, scribbles to the design team? Like how does your creative process look?
Yes, higher process is scribbles and crystals for sure.
Scribbles and crystals. That's a great tagline.
And a little eyeshadow and lip gloss. But I think that was very serendipitous was, I believe we started the conversation in one of our very last meetings. Was we all sat down together at Curry's offices, and it was a very early initial, like, here's my inspiration, you know, kind of moment. And then everything happened digitally and remotely from that moment on.
I know you mentioned it earlier in your intro, how you started in textiles, but I'd love to know the similarities and the differences between designing, you know, very textile focused and also with lighting.
For me, though textiles are my anchor and I have an MFA in applied textile design, for me, product design and my paints, it really doesn't matter if my paints are fabric and dye or crystals and form or wood. And, you know, it really doesn't matter if you give me a project and it has to be wallpaper or lighting or floor treatments or bedding. It's just all a canvas for me. It's just, as an artist, you have to just change your palette, and that's what makes it very fun.
That's a really great analogy, you know, the artist and the paint and the different, you know, tools that you have. Cecil, I know you mentioned when you guys were first collaborating in 2016 that, you know, minerals and stones were on the rise. And what are you seeing gaining popularity, and what should we be keeping an eye out for in the market?
Well, I think one of the things that this new collection with Aviva does beautifully is, well, one, it expresses a lot of her core inspiration. And I think with the whole idea of reconnecting with nature and how important nature is to us as human beings, that we're a part of nature. So I think bringing those things into our interiors in whatever way or whatever form are going to continue to be really important. The other thing is also, I think that luxury materials like a chagrin or a beautiful crystal or gold leaf element, something soft like velvet or mohair or on a sofa. I think comfort is a huge, huge thing, and how we interpret that in the future is going to continue to be really important. Those are all the things kind of that I'm feeling right now.
Yeah, no, and it's interesting. I almost want to think of those not as trends, but as like lifestyle shifts. You know, like we want to be comfortable, we want to be inspired by nature and live with nature, not apart from it. So for both of you, can answer like, what's next for you, or what's something that you would like to manifest?
Creating sacred spaces with product, not just functioning beautiful forms. The things might be gentle reminders to take care of oneself and to gather and connect in an intentional manner is really important. And for me, I'd like to continue to try to do that with more intention with other people in my community, encourage them to do the same. And of course, philanthropic types of activations layered into bringing products to market has always been something that has been in the background, and I'd like to bring that to the forefront as well.
Cecil?
Well, and I think certainly my vision for the future, and I think it's shared with our group at Curry, is along the lines of Aviva's. How can we continue to build these partnerships that we have all over, in different parts of the planet, and how can we be sensitive to the things we're making and sustainability and the things that we're putting out there. And I think we want to continue to evolve as an organization. And obviously, our goal is to delight our customers and delight our designers. And I think we need to, just keep on the path of doing that and keep it in mind and not forget, because I think we have an opportunity to stitch a new garment now and not just go back to the way things were before. And so my goal is to keep that in mind and to help others keep that in mind as well.
Oh, fabulous. Well, thank you guys both so much. I feel like as we're now, we're coming out of the cocoon, we're reemerging, we're getting back into showrooms and trade shows. I think these are great takeaways to keep in mind as, we really are starting this, next chapter. We're weaving a new fabric, Cecil. So a lot to think about, a lot to noodle on. Thank you guys for sharing. And we can't wait to see what's next. So thank you both so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hey everyone, this is Cindy Allen, Editor-in-Chief of Interior Design, and today we're talking lighting with our good friends and a world leader in lighting solutions, Floss. I'm really excited for this one-on-one because today I'm talking with the new CEO of Floss USA, Ann Schiffers, the first female CEO of Floss USA, I might add, congrats on that, who joined to lead the team in September 2020, oh my goodness, with 30 years of lighting experience under her belt. So today we're going to get to know her. You're going to love her. And even though you know and love Floss, there may be more to learn than you think. So today we're going to talk Floss decorative, Floss outdoor, Floss architectural, and all about their custom capabilities. Yep, we're going to get illuminated with Floss right now. Hey, Ann, how are you?
Hi, I'm great. Thank you, Cindy.
It's really great to see you, and congratulations on the new position. At a kind of crazy time in 2020, right? You're a strong woman.
Yeah, there was no room to sway in the mission.
Exactly. So why don't you give us, I know you have deep experience in the industry. Why don't you give us like a Cliff Notes version?
You got it. I like it. You shaved a few years off of it, which is great. So I moved to New York from Virginia in 1989 to attend graduate school at Parsons School of Design to study architectural lighting. There were only, and still are only, a few places to study lighting. And I got a Master of Fine Arts and worked during the day in lighting design and had a 20+ year career in lighting design before moving into manufacturing, where I did a 10-year stint in architectural downlighting, and then joined Floss, like you said, during COVID land. Kind of a tough time.
Yeah, amazing. Well, we're really looking forward to your leadership and getting to know what's like happening right now at Floss. It was something interesting. We had a conversation about this, is that it's so deep. The company is so rich and so deep. And so we're going to kind of break it up, and it kind of helps the designers to see all the capabilities, which are so vast. All right, so we're going to start with what you say is kind of what you think of when you hear the word Floss, which is more on the decorative side, right?
That's right. So we had 5 new product launches in basically 2020 to even last week.
Wow.
And in the decorative realm, and 3 in the outdoor, and 3 in the architectural, and a lot of projects going out the door in custom, which we'll talk about.
Right, amazing. It's like, imagine that you're putting that much forward during a time like this. It just speaks to the leadership of Floss. Okay, so I'm going to name the product, and then you'll give us like it'll going to be like a quick hit, okay?
Perfect. You got it.
Okay, so the newest is the Wire line by Forma Fantasma.
Yes. So that launched last Monday, if you can believe it. in
Congrats.
Miami at Luminaire.
Hmm.
There are 5 wire lines hanging in the storefront for 3 months. They're the first to have it, the first to see it, the first to show it. There are both colors, the pink and the dark green, the forest green. And the beautiful thing about it is it's very large scale. It hangs, it's a rubber piece that hangs basically 9 feet with a glass bar and 2 metal knobs on the side to hold it in place. And the light is within the glass, and it is stunningly beautiful. And the cool thing is that you can put it into a lot of different arrangements. So it can be a single standalone, or it can be multiple put together as a, basically like a big sculpture. It's incredibly beautiful.
Yeah, that's the thing about, first of all, I love that it's rubber and I love the scale. And that's something that Floss, that you guys are so good at, is designing something that could fit into many, many different categories in our industry, like commercial, residential, hospitality, depending on the multiples.
Yeah. And this is because this designer in particular is so green and so sustainable, it comes in a very small box.
Mm.
And it's just basically a rolled piece of rubber with 2 pieces and a glass tube, and super flexible, like you said.
I love that.
Mostly designed for tall spaces, but actually in the Luminaire window, it's about 8 feet. It doesn't hit the floor, but or 9 feet, I guess. It doesn't hit the floor, but it goes right close to it. People walked up to it and they wanted to touch it. It's alluring. It's beautiful.
Yeah, that sounds like what, you know, on a lower ceiling, it's almost can be played like an installation in a way.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Amazing.
It's
Okay.
cool to have a space like that. To me, completely out of the box.
Yeah. In a small box, out of the box, in a small box.
Very small box.
Okay, then we have the bellhop floor, and we all know the bellhop. I have 2 of them in my house right now, by our good friends. Oh, there you go. Wait, show it again. Yeah, love it. Barbara Osgory, great guys.
Yeah. This product came as this cute little table lamp that is portable, so you can take it inside or outside. But the product that we launched recently is a floor lamp with multiple colors. And the cool thing is that when I joined Floss back in the fall, I went in November to Italy to see the products and meet the R&D team. And they were studying color like I've never seen. We have all these new colors coming in this product with a little glass piece. And they had a whole wall of color. And I looked and I said, so are these all of our new colors to sell? The team's gonna be so happy. And they said, oh no, this is the process that we go through before we actually finalize. And it was really, really interesting. They bring the designer in, they ask opinions, they get questions, they get feedback. It's a real back and forth, which is what's so great about Floss. And one of the things that we are really lucky to have are these collaborations with these designers, because they have a keen eye. So nothing is done sort of in a vacuum, in a back room with just sort of lighting engineers. It's a designer in collaboration with the R&D team, with the engineers, fully going around this process. It takes
I love that. And also these ongoing relationships that you have, because as you said, it started as like a little bellhop light. Yeah. And clearly, I mean, they're amazing designers, but you know, clearly it did well. And you thought, oh, let's do something else with it. I love the cement base, by the way, on the floor lamp. And we're just publishing it in interior design right now. So
that's perfect.
There we go. Okay, so we have a lot to get through. So let's keep going. We have the Burlick brothers for the belt. Tell us about it.
Okay, this is unbelievable. When I came in the fall, I said, let's renovate the showroom in Soho. And this is one of the first products that we put in. Gorgeous, gorgeous leather, basically 2 flaps of leather that swoop up to the ceiling. And the light is integrated at the bottom and top. So you get basically an up light and a down light. Very, very sexy, very beautiful. And honestly, I think it's one of the first leather pendants that I've put my eyes on. And I think it goes gorgeous over a kitchen dining table or kitchen or dining table. It goes into an office, it goes into hospitality. I think it's not only is it beautiful, it's really flexible.
Yeah, that's the other thing about it. Like, I think it's going into the Philly Museum of Art in some sort of exhibition with the Burlicks.
Right.
So it fits everywhere.
Yeah.
Love that.
There's one thing I failed to mention, Cindy, which is that Floss currently is in a museum. I'm glad you brought that up. It was recently in Houston, our products, Floss, some of these products here. and currently making its way to Atlanta. So it's a traveling show on high design for which lighting is featured.
Wow, amazing. I'd love to see that, by the way. All right, and so those were 3, and then there are 2 new reissues, and the design community loves the old stuff, so they really love the reissues, and these are like unbelievable. Let's start with Mario Bellini and the Chiara.
So the Chiara, which has 2 different scale, actually 3 different scales, table lamp and a floor lamp. What we're playing with here is reintroducing it from 1962, but changing it to LED. You know, sustainability is a hot topic, but also when we do that, we take advantage of the opportunity to relaunch with new finishes. So we have a green edge on a rose gold, and we have red, and we have dark gray. So finishes are changing, and sizes are changing, and the light source is changing. So
I love that.
The thing is, it lays flat. It lays flat, and you assemble it.
Yeah, so one simple sheet of polished stainless steel, which is amazing. And then there were great pictures shooting Mario playing with the lamp, and the scale of the bigger, like it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
And you can also see that at Luminaire on display for the first time.
Great. In Miami, everybody. So there you go. And then also Achille Castiglione, who's a master, the Diabolo, which I love this light.
This is cool.
Yeah.
So this one is actually has a canopy that's a triangular shape and a pendant head that's a triangular shape. And the cool thing is that you can actually move this up and down, so it's playful, which is what I gotta say. A lot of these products, you want to put your hands on it, you want to touch, you want to feel. So having the opportunity to really get up close and actually touch these products and see how well made they are is really, I think, very special. So this one invites you to kind of grab a hold of it and change it and put it where you need it.
Yeah, and what is it like? What has it been like for you? You're seeing all of this R&D within one company, all these amazing designers, collaborators, your own team. It must be thrilling.
It's thrilling. And the cool thing about floss is that it's just constantly evolving. Just when you think a classic item becomes iconic, it gets reinterpreted again, you know, new finishes, new sizes. So we have a lot of product launches because of that, which is, it's hard to keep up with. That's the exciting part to it, but it's also, it's really cool to see the collaborations with the designers and how they keep either creating new products or changing products that were launched in the 60s. And can I just tell you guys that next year is our 60th year.
Wow.
Kind of cool.
Amazing, amazing. Yeah. We'll have to do some stuff together because interior design, it's 90. And so that kind of makes sense to me.
That's great.
Yeah. So anyway, my husband and I, we actually have the gorgeous dome, the Sky Garden, in our historic townhouse in New York City. That the light is designed by Marcel Vanders, everyone knows it, but like this modern shape that's so decorative because this one room still has the original molding. So it is a stunner. I'll send you a picture.
I love it. I'd love to see it. I think what's so cool about it is the product is so modern, but it has a little piece of history to it. The fact that it's got this kind of what I'll call like a bas relief on the inside of it that kind of speaks to the past without going too historical. So I guess it's a great transitional piece.
Yeah.
Love to see a photo.
He's brilliant. Okay. So that's decorative. Everyone's getting inspired. Let's keep going. So floss outdoor. Let's do some quick hits. Again, giants. You've got Philippe Starck, Patricia Urquiola, Piero Lissoni. Let's start with the new take on a lantern by Philippe.
You got it. So yeah, this was hard because we had a lot of, first of all, let me just back up by saying that the outdoor line launched in February of 2020, just before COVID.
Wow.
So kind of a tough time. So in my mind, it's still quite new. So the first installation is in Soho in our showroom, but we do have a big new space coming, Q4, where we will have a whole room dedicated to outdoor. Wow. So this product, in vitro, is my favorite. It is incredible. When I was in Italy visiting, they actually showed me how the glass was made. So it's basically like what looks like a kind of a glass tube. And at the very top is a very soft LED lens. So at night, there's no sharpness to it. And it lights this glass form in such a beautiful way. You can have it as a portable, which is brand new. We call that the Unplugged, a wall mount, as well as a pendant. And it is stunning.
Yeah, I'm looking at pictures and it looks like a sculpture. It looks like an art piece. It is really like breathtaking, isn't it?
Yeah, and the scale and the size can adapt, and this is my favorite. I just think it's just so well done that you know, there's nothing like it. The lantern reinterpret is definitely the right words for that, because
Yeah.
it's reminiscent of a lantern with kind of the bars around it and the glass enclosure, but it's so unique.
Yeah. By the way, they're all your favorites, Anne.
I know they're all my favorites.
I'm sure they really are too.
They really are. I really can't pick one.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
All right, so let's go to Flauta, meaning flute, from Patricia Urquiola.
This product is also stunning. It's super unique because it has an up component and a down component. So light comes out of both sides of it, both ends of it, I should say. And it has two different finishes and also two patterns. So it has a vertical line as well as sort of what could be kind of like a triangular shape to it. Really, really beautiful, very elegant. And I think this is, again, something that can go anywhere.
And you know, you think of Patricia, you think of pattern and texture and color, and she just never disappoints and is always innovating. And you know, I love her.
Yeah, she's super creative.
Yeah,
as they all are.
As they all are. And then let's talk about Landlord. So now let's go like super edited and refined with Piero Lazzoni. Nobody does it like Piero with Landlord.
So Landlord has this really cool ability to tilt 20 degrees. So if you want to aim towards a path or aim towards a plant, you have the ability to just kind of switch it. And I think that kind of moment makes it really unique in a garden. So if you want to do a little highlighting, because it's not like your standard outdoor light where you kind of aim a spotlight. It's very graceful and it's very thin. So it's a gorgeous piece.
Yeah, I read something, it's sort of like it can spot, but it also can be soft, right?
Yeah, very soft. So you have the option. You can have a very sharp line to it as a spotlight or a very soft kind of diffuse. So if you want to highlight something like a tree or a planting, you have one option. Or if you want to just light a path ever so gently, you can do it with the other option. So it's very flexible.
Amazing. Okay, so decorative, outdoor. Let's move on to architectural. And there's a lot for designers to know about in terms of this, because a lot of the product is so gorgeous. Do you sometimes forget it's also like architectural lighting?
I don't think everybody knows all about the architectural line. Exactly. I mean, I think we have a lot of best kept secrets. This is one of them. Outside of outdoor, which is brand new and just launched. This is something that we have been connected to since 2005. And it is a very large product line. So picking products to share about was challenging. So we just went with the new ones. But there's a lot to talk about, from systems, which is a interconnected, essentially, system that allows you to have pendants hang from it, up light, down light, really, really flexible. And infrastructure started a couple years ago, 3 years ago, as basically a very horizontal system, very similar to what was expected during Bauhaus, and has been developed into now this episode 2 launch, which allows you to hang pendants on it, which is incredible. So this is great if you want to just make a statement, or if you want to, you don't have a recessing plenum, you have a kind of concrete slab, very popular for leads projects because putting ceilings in is kind of a quote waste. So this allows you to hang below the concrete slab and attach fixtures in various ways. We recently completed a project called Pearl, which is in also Miami. A lot of shout outs, I guess, to Miami here. But this product is perfect in that space because you have this entire ceiling, very high ceiling. And this drops down and allows you to highlight. You have basically little heads that allow you to highlight the walls. You have decorative pendants that come down and can go over the tables. And it's just like a very strong piece in the space, where otherwise it's a very quiet space.
That's Vincent Van Dyson, right? Who designed it, right?
Thank you.
You know what's really fun to see, and I'm sure as a company also fun to see a project that has multiple different types of products in your lines, because they all come from a different kind of viewpoint too, but to see them together is really exciting. And Pearl has that, right?
It does, absolutely. The restaurant in Miami has Find Me, which are these fun little downlights that recessed all the way into the ceiling. However, you can also pull them down, aim them in a specific direction. And there are 3 different sizes. So they're like tiny, tiny, like 2 inches, 3 inches, and like 4 inches.
Wow.
So find me's a really fun product as a downlight, kind of adjustable light. Touchy is the beautiful table lamp that they have at the bar. And then Noctambule is at the very back of the restaurant at the chef's table. Actually, when I walked in there, the chef was sitting there working at the table, and I look up and he looks up and I said, that's incredible. He goes, this is my favorite place to sit in the restaurant because I get to sit under this light, be lit by it, but then look across the ceiling and see, you know, this whole ceiling by infrastructure by Vincent Van Dusen. So it is a really interesting collaboration of different products, but it works so beautifully. You know, it is a lot of various, you know, separate moments, a lot of moments, but it comes together beautifully.
And Noctambule is also modular, right? You can keep growing those gorgeous glass containers, right?
So Noctambule is this beautiful glass structure that allows you to build kind of like a Lego building. So it's a glass piece that has an illuminated ring and then another glass piece on top. And you can put it together in lots of fun ways. I saw a really cool installation where they made basically like columns of these all the way down for a museum exhibit.
Wow.
Absolutely stunning.
Wow. Let's also talk about exhibition lighting, because that's not something everyone may be aware of either. I know you have this, the micro running magnet. Tell us about it.
So we have 2 running magnets. We have a large scale running magnet, should you have a high ceiling. And then we have this newly launched micro running magnet, which is tiny. It is great for inside display cases. It is great for retail environments, really where you have I would say a small space that you want to highlight. And the product is this big. When I was in Spain, I looked at it and I put it in my hand. I was like, this is the cutest thing I've ever seen. It is smaller than a cell phone. It is just absolutely stunning. But
the power of what it can light, right?
Exactly right. It carries a punch. It's great.
And what about the expansion of the light shadow family?
So Light Shadow started as a product that was multiple cells in sort of a rectangular form. And launching at the end of this month is Light Shadow Pro, which is a round downlight that has this custom optical system. Really, really beautiful, high performing downlight and adjustable product and wall wash product. So we have a lot to offer in that. And that is actually fantastic for residential work, for museum work, for corporate work. I mean, that type of a product can go anywhere. Really high performance.
I do want to get to, all these amazing collaborations, we see them as product, but what about now? You're collaborating with architects and designers in space, in projects, in all ranges of projects. So there's a few faves, and I thought maybe I'll ask you about some of them, like, for instance, TWA.
Okay, well, what a building.
Yeah, oh my goodness.
So glad you asked. I mean, that building by Eero Saarinen from 1962, which is kind of a fun thing because that's when FLOSS started, was renovated. And this was Inc. Architecture and Design, and the lighting designer was Cooley Minato. And the goal was to recreate what was there before. These beautiful spinnings cascade across the ceiling in a polished white finish with a very simple form, all the way across the ceiling. The light fixtures basically becoming the ceiling. It's absolutely stunning. And then of course the carpets are bright red. I mean, the space is so dynamic. It's really a powerful kind of a tribute back to 1962. And it certainly pays respects to what was done before, but it's done in a much more kind of eco-friendly / sustainable way.
Yeah, well, first of all, like Inc., they're good friends of the magazine. I love them. And that room specifically was on the cover of Interior Design. So
that's a double shout out.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. Amazing, amazing project. Yeah, and that idea of the multiple too, I just get really excited by it. But congratulations for you, for Inc., for TWA, amazing. Another project, by the way, which we also published in Interior Design, is Capital One. The architects were Gensler, our good friends, and the lighting designer was Lighting Workshop.
Right. What a complicated, interesting, engineering-focused project. These tiny balls, for which there are 2,600 of them.
Oh my gosh.
Wave across the ceiling. And it was a masterpiece. It was a highly technical project because we had to coordinate the glass balls, how they mounted to the ceiling, and how the whole system was controlled. So we basically created a metal pan ceiling of a polished white finish and hand mounted all of them, and then mocked it all up here at Lucas and then installed it over there. So I would say one of the greatest things about the custom house of floss, and by the way, did you guys know we had a custom house, is that we really take care of everything. It's very hands-on, it's very technical. The drawings are, you know, very, very detailed, and we go to the site, we work with the contractors, we make sure that it's installed properly, wired properly, controlled properly, so that the designers can sort of like shake their hand at that and say, it's covered, you know. So that's where we offer a great service. It's beyond creating a custom product. It's also making sure that it really functions perfectly in the space.
Can I just say, so those are also good friends. Gensler designed the project, and you know, you cannot, you're like, you're in an Uber. I was going to say a cab. You're in an Uber. You pass by. You cannot miss this space. All these years later, it is still so stunning. It's like an art piece.
It is. It's so sculptural. You're right. Beautiful.
And we got to talk about the One Hotel Brooklyn Bridge Park. Again, the interior is designed by Inc. Architecture and Design, and the lighting designer is Lighting Workshop.
Yeah, and the great thing about that product is that it is a LEED certified project. The fact that Long Island City is the home of our Floss Custom by Lucas, we are within that 500-mile radius, which allows us to service and provide basically that close proximity for that project so that they get the extra points for it, on top of getting LEED's points for being LED and sustainable. So here, we designed so many different types of products. We designed a bar light, which is this beautiful little, very simple, very minimal light that sits on the bar. We designed the sconces. We designed the pendants. So I would say this project allowed our products to go all the way through the space, which allows it to be very consistent. And I would say one voice for the project, and really, really thoughtful materials. So the materials repeated, the shape, the sizes were all really carefully coordinated.
No, it's amazing. And the custom lighting is like throughout the corridors and the guest rooms and the restaurant and the restrooms and the lobbies and everywhere.
It's throughout. It absolutely is.
Yeah.
It's stunning.
All right, let's talk about this is in Boston, the Converse headquarters.
Look at these cute shoes.
I know, amazing, amazing.
So the cool thing about this project, Converse design team in Boston, is that they came to us and they said, we would love to use our product, our sneakers, our high tops, and change the sole on the product and use a LED strip behind it so that the shoes glow. So when you walk by this in Boston, I actually saw this before I actually came to Floss, and it stopped me dead in my tracks. I was like, that is so creative. Taking the product and putting it on display and making it the light for the space is absolutely beautiful. And it was actually a very tough project because the heat had to be verified that they would not burn out, because LEDs need ventilation. And here in the sneaker, the LEDs are trapped between the plastic. So having the product not burn out too quickly because of heat trap was the challenge. They burned in these LEDs for quite some time. They basically turned the product into a little laboratory and had them running for days and days and days to make sure they didn't overheat.
Well, the installation is gorgeous. We also published that, by the way. Follow you. I don't know what it is, Anne, but okay. Look, we've gone through a lot. I'd love to have one more story, and there is a really good one. We call it like the full circle story, right? Because it was an installation and now it's a product, and it was a great collaboration, good for resi and commercial. Tell us about the custom project at the new Four Seasons.
Okay, so this is Michael Anastasiades, and this product are tubes of light that were designed for the Four Seasons, which, as you know, is a landmark building designed by Philip Johnson originally and Mies van der Rohe. And the lighting was by Richard Kelly, the very first lighting designer, very, very special, prominent building in New York. And these basically tubes of light were created as sculptures. And the really interesting thing about this product is that it then became a standard product for floss, which is the first time. So it started as a custom and then it rolled right into the product line. And this product is now in corporate boardrooms. This is now in residences. You can find it at the Mira in San Francisco. So it has basically many legs that have traveled. So the product has gone through a full development. So now it's a pendant, it's a wall sconce, and it's also a floor lamp. And it's found its way into lots of different vertical applications, vertical markets like hospitality, residential, corporate. So
it never ends. That one, it never ends.
Yeah. And it's a modern piece, so it kind of reinterprets itself. And this is now on display. We just put it up in our showroom in Soho.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, I'm so excited to have spent some time with you. Also hear about all the amazing design that we expect from you. But you know, going through a pandemic and still all of this goodness coming out of you is very hopeful for all of us. But also just the applications and the many different ways, and you know, educating our community in, you know, that it's all these things. It's decorative, it's architectural, it's these amazing collaborations, it's outdoor, new outdoor, and that's really exciting for our future. And then all the sustainable aspects that you guys are working so hard on. Is there anything that you want to kind of leave us with?
There is one last thought I would love to share. We have a brand new experience center coming, what we are calling D Studio, a design studio that allows our designers and specifiers, architects, landscape designers to come into the space and work with our team. We have a custom room. We have what we call a comfort room where you can experience the lighting. We have rooms for lectures, and we have a theater space and lots of product on display.
Wow.
So that's coming soon.
That's amazing. Well, I am feeling extremely illuminated by my good friends at Floss, and especially spending time with you. And I wish you all the best, and only looking forward to more amazing work, product, and using your brilliant ideas to move Floss into the future.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure, and there's a lot to tell and a lot to share. So I really appreciate your time.
This is the first. This is the first, you guys. Hopefully more. Okay.
Thank you.
Take care.